Alright.
This is gonna be awesome.
Josh, how was your week?
Oh man, been dealing with tech problems with my computers.
Hold on. There's a coffin imitation sound happening. Mallory, are you going inside of a casket? Is that part of your job now?
No, I was going into my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Anyways, Josh, I'm sorry. So you were doing what now?
Yeah, tech problems with my PC. That's been
Boo.
fun. Let's see. Binge the final season of She-Ra. Haven't played Final Fantasy VII, unfortunately. Deadly Premonition. Animal Crossing. Ableton. I think that's it.
See, and you say you didn't get anything done this week, but listen to all the things you just said.
Who said I got them done, though? Whose turn is it next?
John's turn. Oh, he's not here. Mallory.
I didn't do anything too exciting. Pretty much worked and slept, so it's been my week.
Nice, dude. Well, my week
so
has pretty much been the same thing. So it's not really that much, that much interesting. Oh my god.
What was that?
Mallory just breathed right into the microphone. But, yeah. What the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, no, I didn't do much. Gonna have a busy week coming up once all my DJ shit comes in because tons of bonuses and shit at work, so lots of money to spend, so not enough things to spend it on, just kidding. But that'll be fun. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to try a new format. Obviously, it's not like anyone can see, but I have the computer out, so you will hear the mouse a bit more. I'm going to try to order everything to like most relevant news. I'm probably going to touch on some stuff that we didn't do because of the little vacay from the last week. So we're going to go with that, but at the same time, just going to try to see if anything interesting has popped up in real time, just because normally a lot of stuff is announced and then I see it after the fact. So I'm going to try to, not try to avoid that being a thing. But other than that, we'll just see how that goes. Xbox did their reveal event recently where they showed a few different games. Unlike the PlayStation event, Xbox did show some actual gameplay. And we're going to talk about the PlayStation, if you can call that a demo, what happened recently. But yeah, so Xbox showed a few of their games, kind of how it's going to go. They showed the actual boot up. And then they also did confirm that although they aren't doing Halo Infinite at that event, it's because Halo Infinite is going to have its own event in July. So there'll be a more hands-on thing there. I do know that with the last Halo game being pretty disappointing, a lot of people are actually looking forward to Halo Infinite. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. John's not here, so I don't know what the fuck Halo Infinite is, but it is a sequel, I suppose, or it could be a prequel. I'm not 100% sure. Amazon released a brand new free-to-play game. Who gives a shit? Amazon Games is trash. Can you guys name an Amazon game studio game that you played?
I don't think so.
Nope, because that's their only game and it's bad. Activision Blizzard showing that they hit despite the fact that they said they're having a rough year or whatever, they posted a $1.79 billion first quarter. So hard times at Activision Blizzard. Of course, the games that they've announced since then, of course, is Diablo and Diablo 4 or whatever, and Overwatch 2, the most unnecessary sequel of all time next to Last of Us. And then on top of that, they also released Call of Duty Warzone, which is obviously a very popular game that's generating a shitload of money. So I don't know what Activision Blizzard means when they say that they're suffering, because Overwatch, Call of Duty, and everything else seems to be doing fine. Of course, they did have the Hong Kong fiasco, but, everyone in America is a bunch of stupid racists, so no one cares about the fact that happened, because Overwatch 2 got announced, so good job. Of course, there was several controversies of kind of next-gen stuff being shown, but stuff not necessarily being shown. Ubisoft and Sony are the two culprits in this case. Ubisoft dropped the gameplay trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which showed absolutely zero gameplay. Sony likewise did the same thing with their PS5 demo, which showed absolutely nothing. All it was a glorified Unreal 5 tech demo because Sony and Epic Games, two awful companies, are jerking each other off behind the scenes. So because of that, that's what that was. It was just a pre-rendered video. A lot of masked loading times and stuff like that, which Epic Games, the most trustable company on earth, swears was real gameplay and not just pre-rendered bullshit going over a loading screen, because Sony and Xbox are both bragging about how little load times there are going to be this generation. So we'll see how true that is, because if that is the case, no load times or virtually no load times would be nice. I think that that's definitely an issue with this generation that still exists. Is like Monster Hunter World's load times are atrocious. GTA 5's load times are bad. To be able to have games that big or bigger without the caveat of having to have load times would be nice. I think that it's time for that, because it's been done before. You had I believe it was Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation 2, which had no load times, and then of course several Dreamcast games had no load times. So it's one of those things where it's been done before, so it's kind of funny that we're in 2020 and companies like Microsoft and Sony still can't figure out the formula for not being taking forever to load shit, but we'll see. Diablo 2 had a remaster announced. One of my biggest concerns with that one is the fact that we saw how they did Warcraft 3, I believe. Was it Warcraft 3 Reforged?
Yeah.
And we saw how that was handled. So, of course, Activision Blizzard showing their incompetence when it comes to remastering games. One would like to think that they would learn from their mistakes, but they're certainly not a poster company when it comes to learning from mistakes. So we'll see if J. Allen Brack and his hair can actually do a good job with Diablo this time, or Diablo 2 this time. So we'll see with that. Have you guys had much experience with Diablo 2 growing up, that this would be something you'd be interested in playing?
I've actually never played it.
Nice. You're the other one, Mallory.
I mean, I'd be interested to play, but, I don't support them, so probably not.
That's actually a good answer. All right. So, I took a picture of... Whoops, I put a screenshot of what I ordered on Amazon, so ignore that. Oh, no, I didn't. It was hidden in my screenshot. Yeah, so there was this really shitty game called The Culling that came out over a year ago on PC. And it was one of the many free-to-play Battle Royale bullshit games, but the thing about this particular one is they're relaunching it, and this time it's going to come out on PC as well, this relaunch, but it's also going to be coming out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But the issue is, even though you pay $5 to get the game, you only get one turn a day, and you have to buy more turns to play it, despite the fact that you're buying the game for $5. So, how is that? What are you buying then with the money if you still have to buy additional turns anyways? Did you guys see the trailer for that game?
No.
This is a really good episode, guys. I'm happy that everyone is so engaged and listen and then doing the news. Capcom. Right, they just talked about whether everyone cares about that. Resident Evil 3 is good, so there's that. We talked about loading games. Wonderful 101 Remastered comes out the day after this episode drops, so that'll be good, except for the fact that the performance is apparently really bad on it. Bad frame drops, everything, which is a little weird considering how much more powerful the Switch is versus the Wii U, but it's having a lot of performance issues. So they are having port problems, but it is Platinum Games, so I'm really not too concerned with them not being able to fix it. But the big issue being that it is a bit of a rocky start to the game.
Especially after they had that issue with the codes, I think.
Correct. The Kickstarter codes, I still haven't even got mine, but the Kickstarter codes went out and then they weren't working. they were invalid. So, yeah, not the best launch, which is a bit of a shame. It's almost like karma working against the game, because the game itself already had a bad launch or bad sales period in general, considering it was one of the worst selling Nintendo games of all time. If I could recall correctly, I believe I'm the only one I know that owns that game. More or less even played the game, so there's already that issue that it's a very underrated game. But of course, it is one of the best games that come out on the Wii U. So it's also one of those things where it's an unfortunate mishap. I remember that I did have this conversation with somebody, and of course they were being a big Galaxy brain about it and being like, well, how can it be the best one if it didn't sell that well? The quality of the game isn't measured by the sales of the game, because if that was the case, Call of Duty is better than every Final Fantasy game ever made. So it's one of those things where it's just like, is it though? Just because it sells doesn't mean anything. And that would mean that Madden is the best game of all time. So you can't really be that kind of person and think that fucking money is what is the measuring stick for quality, because obviously it isn't the case. Do any of you guys have issues with your Switch heating up, or having any issues with the Switch getting too hot when you're playing it?
Not that I'm aware of.
I haven't.
Apparently, this
I know
can
it
be
gets a bit warm, but
yeah. So apparently, this can be a thing, and when mixed with the summer heat in most places, that can be a bad thing. I don't know if you guys have ever had your phone get so hot when you're charging it in your car, per se. I don't think this would happen in a house because it's air conditioned, but like in the car, if your phone gets too hot, it'll actually stop from charging. So it has a safety so it doesn't fucking blow your phone up. So there is that. Because of that, they're actually going to be releasing a fan that attaches to the back of your Switch. It's a pretty small fan. I can show Josh, but I can't show Malik because he's not here. But it's a small little deal that goes in there, of course, being powered by USB. So chances are you're going to have to plug it into something else, which is a little weird. You can even use it for your phone. The thing that's weird about stuff like that is with accessories, it's always like, how much do you really want to add on to that, right? When we had our regular Game Boys or even our Game Boy Pockets, we had that little worm-like thing for those of us who did. You had your little worm-like thing because it didn't have an illuminated screen, not necessarily because you wanted to. The attachment that I found weird for the Game Boy was that magnifying shit. I didn't find that made the game any better. I felt like it actually made it a little like hard to look at after a while. I never ended up buying it because of that, but I had a friend who had it and it looked awful. It's why the Game Boy Advance SP is still the most superior version of the Game Boy.
SP is pretty good.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's just aesthetically badass. So yeah, I don't think it's a thing I would get because typically if I am playing my Switch, I'm usually indoors, so it's not really. Again, I haven't had that problem either. I do know it gets pretty hot, like especially if you're playing docked and that shit's overclocking to run at 1080. It does get pretty hot in the dock, but I don't recall. I agree with. Well, I also play on the light, so I don't know if that's a big difference, but. I can definitely say I'm in the same camp as you guys, where I haven't really had it get so hot where I'm like, oh, this is a concern, or I feel like my system's gonna break. So we'll just have to see if that sells very well. But apparently, the device itself is more targeted at the Japanese audience, which apparently has expressed the want for that. So different markets, I suppose. There's that.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, the angels that they are suing Google and Apple over a Rainbow Six-like game. I saw the screenshots and the footage of it. It's pretty, unabashedly, whatever. But the reason that they're suing Google and Apple is apparently, it's just too obvious that they should have known. But let's face it, a lot of moderated things aren't very good. YouTube, etc. just don't have appropriate moderating teams. So there's that you can kind of, dismiss aside. But Ubisoft has said, apparently, that they have reached out to Apple and Google several times to be like, yo, there's this game that's fucked and blah, blah. And they've just either been ignored or given the cold shoulder. So they're going to do that. The game, of course, is creatively named Area F2, which... that's a fucking weird name for it.
Area F2.
It's probably some Chinese knockoff game.
Remember that area? I don't.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, the mobile market really is that different cesspool of an area, because you have Wooly mentioned it, and I know we've had conversations about it before, where when something, think about lawsuits like Alien Colonial Marines, Duke Nukem Forever and stuff like that, when they're showing something but you promise something different, a lot of companies do get sued over stuff like that. But with mobile games, they are some of the biggest exaggerations and lies, especially when you see, I'm sure all of you have seen some sort of Facebook ad for a mobile game, or you see it on even TV, which is even crazier. And it's just, the game does, it shows like fucking 4K graphics, and then there's all these cool animations and attacks and fucking HDR rendering, and you're just like, there's just no way. even one of the highest spec phones on the market right now is either the Galaxy S20 or the fucking Razer Phone 2. And those phones probably can't fucking handle like something that looks like that good or whatever. So I don't know. It's just weird. I've tried playing games like that just because they do look aesthetically nice. Like not as good as they show on TV, but like for a mobile game.
Yeah.
But I just never got like Koreans and some Japanese are really into this, where it's just like auto plays. Like you have it on and then you just click up. Like it's a lot of auto commands. Like you auto loop walking or you auto loop. Uses a button to the character just goes to every like spawn point to farm. You press it, it just automatically attacks during the battle. Uses a potion when it needs to. All that stuff, and I'm just like, what's the point? Is that really playing? Is this where we are? Where like autonomous gaming is kind of like where we're at now? But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just
considering how a lot of mobile games are very grindy.
Yeah.
I can see that because. Like, when I would play Duel Links, most of the time when I'm just doing, like, really grindy AI duels or whatever, I would auto-duel all the fucking time.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that, to me, I can kind of see. That wouldn't have been as weird to me if, like, it was something like that. Mm-hmm. But to me, this is just straight up, like, imagine, like, if in FF11, when you used to play that, you would just be like, just go fishing for a bit, and then you're just on your phone, and you're not even looking at the screen, and your character's going everywhere and fishing at maximum areas. It's just like... Did you do that, though? You did this part, you clicked, but it's like, I don't know, games like that's just weird to me. I believe the only Korean game I've ever played, if I recall correctly, unless there's some studio that made a major game that I'm not aware of, was Terra Online, I believe is a Korean game. I played that for a bit. It was fine.
It's pretty. I'm
not gonna lie, it's just because sexy costumes. The game itself, let me not discredit the game. The game itself is an MMO. A lot of MMOs are just fucking chop standard. There's nothing really... There's not many RPGs that are very, like, it has this WoW thing. It's all fairly... You grind, you get the XP, you get the gear, you do the raid, the game gets expansions, etc., etc. The main thing, of course, that I gotta say that even though I did get hooked into it, absurdly expensive cosmetics. Of course, you have, like, you can get a micro bikini, $50, and it's just like fucking yikes. But I mean, they made a lot, and it's probably why the game still survived, because again, the game itself is not necessarily anything stand out. I did play Black Desert Online. That's also Korean. I forgot about that. That one, of course, known for its character creator being fucking absurd. But again, the game itself is not bad. Just standard issue MMO. Yeah. For example, the things that makes Final Fantasy's MMO stand out a bit more in terms of, like, FF11 and at least the revamped FF14. Is the fact that it's got that Final Fantasy backing. If you were to really strip away that, like, ooh, you're playing as a Dragoon, ooh, that character, this event, and you were just to play Joe Schmo and Gary Man as, like, your thing, you have no idea who these races are, they're just... They probably wouldn't be that interesting. I think that's the thing. Is what makes those MMOs stand out is like the lore. It's the same thing with World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? You had, for those people who grew up playing Warcraft, it's that lore taken into there. And that's just one of those issues where I think that I just don't understand that. But that was a tangent. 4 new games got added to Switch On. Do you guys play SNES or NES classic games that you do get if you have Nintendo Online?
I dicked around for a little bit, but not too much.
Okay, you never really got in there and played a game a lot. Mallory?
I played a little bit. I just got rid of it a couple of weeks ago because I just didn't find anything that I wanted to play.
So that's the thing that I find weird about it. Is there's a lot of good games on there. At least there wasn't at first, but like present day there is. Yeah. And so I find it a lot weird. I actually play a lot of stuff on there. I played through Super Metroid and Metroid Classic like almost all the way on both of those. Obviously, I played it a lot because those games are fucking long. But that's the thing I find is kind of a shame is a lot of people I know don't play them. And I understand there's a lot of people who are going to be like, well, why? Because there's all these new games coming out. But the thing is, like, you also are technically paying for that because your Switch Online subscription
comes with it.
With it. So it's like, you are technically playing for it. So at that point, I'm just kind of like, it's kind of a cool feature I think is sad that people are neglecting. It's also why I call people's bluffs when they say, oh man, if they add N64 or GameCube, I'm playing it all the time. I feel like they're going to say that, and then Nintendo
Yeah.
is eventually going to get there, and I'm going to see none of you people on there
Right.
playing fucking any of those games. Because there's a lot of good stuff. But for those of you who didn't know what came out, there was some fucking... I can't read this shit. This shit's in Japanese. Some puzzle game. Probably Busted Movers. Let me see. What is this? Oh, it's Panel de Pon. Never heard of that. But they also added Operation Logic Bomb. I've also never heard of that. But the two games they had that I did know is Rygar, which is a cool side-scroll action game. That was really cool. It's also where, if anyone watches the AVGN series and knows the game Jekyll and Hyde, that theme song that you hear constantly playing through Jekyll and Hyde was actually originally from Rygar, and they actually just repurposed it for Jekyll and Hyde because shitty game.
Because who knows?
Exactly. And then Wild Guns, of course, also is going to be on there, and that is definitely one of the cooler games that they added on there. Wild Guns is like, I don't know, it's not really it is a shooter, but like more so like kind of like Contra. You have a bunch of you have your reticles, you and whoever's playing, and then you're just buildings are full of enemies, and you're both just trying to shoot them, and you move to the next area and everything. So it's fun stuff. I think that people should do that. Borderlands 3 is doing some bullshit. Who cares? Fuck them. Sony's pulling the Microsoft route now and saying that even COVID ain't going to stop no PS5 release, so good for them. Before I forget, I remember we did want to talk about this. Unfortunately, John's not here, and this is actually one of the people I did want to talk about it with as well, but whatever. We'll get his input eventually. But Mass Effect Remastered was obviously announced the other week.
Mm-hmm.
So, my obvious concerns is just the way BioWare / EA handles anything. It is, of course, going to be on the Switch, which is kind of a cool place to be able to play your Mass Effect stuff. Although, technically, that wasn't officially confirmed yet. But yes, it has. It's one of those things where the ratings boards kind of spoils everything. You really just have to look at what has been run through for ratings lately, and it's like, why would they... There is a chance they could rate something for a platform and decide against it later on, but why would you waste your time? Obviously, it's coming out on Switch. Which is going to be kind of cool, because, Mass Effect 1 and 2 are good. But my concern is of how they're going to handle it. It's like, is it going to have some shitty DRM? That would be bad. Or is it even worse, going to have added DLC and stuff like that? One thing I would like. Okay, so that stuff that's all bad, and I'm sure we all don't want that. I guess if we can think of something like a hope that we each have, my hope would be that they think of a way where they edit 3 where you don't have to do that online shit to fucking get a better ending. Or get, whatever the fuck, resources or whatever at the end of 3. Sorry, spoilers, who gives a fuck, Mass Effect 3 sucks dick.
I wonder if they ever tweaked that for the... Because, nobody's going to...
They didn't. All they did was patch the ending, the new ending, but they didn't actually ever change that system.
Yeah, because it's like, if you do replays, nobody's going to be playing that fucking multiplayer.
Exactly. Is there anything in any of the games? This doesn't have to be Mass Effect 3, obviously that's the one that could use the most improvement. But is there anything in particular you'd like to see Mass Effect do or have in this new remastered version?
They're not going to do it, but you should be able to romance Tally in the first game. But they're not going to do it.
That's unfortunately a very niche request, but would have been cool. I'm glad they fixed it in 2 and let you.
I kind of hope, because even though I liked the first one, I do remember it looked very grainy.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping this remastered one's truly remastered.
Yeah, I hope...
That one did not age well, because I actually did fire up Mass Effect 1 on PC. God. I didn't add mods or anything, just wanted to see it. Mm-hmm. It looks bad. Yeah. It's very stiff, the characters are very stiff, the controls feel very slightly irresponsive enough where it bothers you, where it's not like you're it's not a deal breaker, but you're, the thing that's going to be interesting too is if you actually do play through the trilogy all together, because obviously, did all of them come out on the same platform?
Yeah.
They did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there were years and years of gaps in between.
Yeah, but
the thing that would be interesting to see though is now that there aren't those years and years of gaps in between, if you actually do play 1, 2, and 3, you can actually in real time see it become less of an RPG. Because 1 is pretty damn RPG. Then 2 is kind of RPG, but more bang bangs. Then 3 is just straight up. You got skills and equipable shit, but it's pretty much just shooting shit. It's not really much of an RPG anymore at that point.
I wonder if they're gonna make the transition to each game a bit smoother than the previous ones.
That would be nice.
Yeah, because I think was it in 2 or was it in both 2 and 3 where you had to input what you
2
did?
and 3.
Like it wouldn't just read your save like how Dragon Age would do it. Well, actually, I take that back because Inquisition, you had to go to that site and be like, okay, this is what I did.
Yeah.
And all that other
it was almost
bullshit.
kind of cool that you could do that, but at the same time, it was really tedious.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the way Mass Effect 2 and 3 worked, if I recall correctly, is you would enter a code to carry over your appearance, but you had to input the decisions you made, which was a thing.
Yeah.
The thing, I don't know if this happened to y'all. Did y'all use that code to input, to import your looks?
Yeah.
Or did you just redo it?
I did. I think it was I want to say it was the third one where there was some issues with it, though.
Yeah, didn't the import kind of ugly? Like, my character looked really good in the first 2, and then she got really, like, it looked like she had a problem.
Yeah, it just looked weird. And
she had like a receding hairline. I had to adjust everything because she had like her hair was pushed all the way the fuck back for some reason. I gave her short hair in that game, not because I'm not a big fan of short hair people. Like, that's a personal preference, but I'm not that fan. So I like usually long hair. But the problem is in Mass Effect, it looks really ugly and like clips through the shoulders a lot, and that really bothers me. So I gave him like a bobbish thing just to be like no clipping because it can't. But, oh god, I got so scared. I just realized, what if I didn't? I know you probably would have told me, but I was like, what if I didn't click record? Oh, yeah. Anyways, I just, my dick just receded when I thought of that. But anyways, it looked really bad. Yeah, okay, so you also, she looked a little weird. Or,
I had to make some minor tweaks after the code import thing.
Yeah. Mallory, did you play much Mass Effecto?
I played the first one, but the second one I didn't really like, and then the third one I just didn't care about.
How dare you?
I really liked one because it was kind of creepy, and I had a lot of fun not just playing it but also watching it. And then, like I said, I fell off at 2. I didn't really like it as much as 1. So
was it the combat or?
I think it's because they took so much story out of it that I just didn't like it anymore. Like, to me, I like the story of Mass Effect.
Weird. Usually a lot of people hail the second.
I was going to say, I feel like the second one's the best one. But, that's fine. Have either of you guys played much of the Mafia games? Mafia 1, 2, and 3?
Oh, never played them.
Valerie?
Mm-mm.
It's a shame because you guys aren't really unique in that boat because a lot of people haven't, and it's a shame because they're actually really good. Now, Mafia 1 was a little clunky and bad, but Mafia 2 and especially Mafia 3 were really good games. Like, 1 was just bad, 2 improved the gameplay but had like a mediocre story, 3 had fun gameplay and just like a really gripping story. So they're actually just recently announced. What is today's date? The 17th.
Yeah.
They actually are going to have a bigger reveal on the 19th, but they actually just announced earlier that in the week that they are going to be doing not really a remaster, but they are doing a trilogy port, which is really cool. Of course, they only showed logos for PS4, Xbox, Steam, and Epic Games, so it doesn't look like there's a Switch port coming out. But I kind of don't blame it on that one. There's a lot of dynamic lighting and stuff that might not be too easy to translate, so maybe we'll get one eventually. But those worlds are pretty massive, so stuff like that I kind of forgive not being on Switch because I'd rather, than... Although, there's been an eternal tease on both Rockstar's end, and then, of course... people at Nintendo just not straight up denying it, and I guess you don't want to deny something that there's ever just even a minor chance of, but GTA 5 has always been one of the most requested ports to Switch ever since the beginning of the console, but for anyone who's played GTA 5, you can imagine, even the PS3 version would be a very hard game to port, because that game is massive, and I think even... de-rendering certain areas or only loading in essentials or instances would not be... I just don't think it would work out. I think the game would be too stripped down. Saints Row runs fine, but those cities are definitely nowhere near as big as GTA 5. I just think it's too massive of a game. New Paper Mario game coming out. Yeah. That's pretty dope. It's going to be coming out July 17th. Paper Mario the Origami King. Bless you.
Yeah.
Did you? Were you the one who was telling me that you wish you had gotten into the Paper Mario games more, or no? Or the Mario RPG? I forgot. I thought there was like a certain Mario game that you thought looked cool. I thought it was one of the RPG ones that looked cool that you didn't really get to.
I know we recently were talking about Odyssey.
Oh yeah, Odyssey was one of them.
Yeah. But yeah, I never got to play Mario RPG. I remember as a kid kind of wanting to because it was Squaresoft.
Yep.
And
it's amazing.
Yeah, I was like a huge Squaresoft fan back then because Chrono Trigger was so great.
Yep, and it was great because it plays like a traditional Squaresoft game, but Mario aesthetics and like everything was it was such a cool idea. It's kind of like, I guess you could consider it like a Kingdom Hearts type collaboration but instead of just like character rosters mixing, it was more so styles mixing. Yeah. So it was really cool. Mallory, have you played any of the Paper Mario games or even Mario RPG?
I played most of the Paper Mario games, and I really love them. So I'm really excited for this one to come out.
Yeah, when did the first one come out? N64?
Paper Mario?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I think I actually have my computer out for once. Paper Mario time. Let's see. Original. Yep, very good. You are correct. That series made its debut on the N64. In the year 2000.
Wow, so long ago.
What year did the N64 drop, if you recall? Or at least roughly.
It's been like late 90s.
Okay, so 2000 isn't late.
Yeah.
N64 debut? We're just going to be Googling shit all day. No, anyways, I am curious though, actually. The N64 came out... Oh god, what a lie. 96. So it came out about 4 years after it launched. So a bit into its life cycle. Because the N64, if I remember, was supported for a while, I think. So that's really cool. Valorant, apparently not very interesting. A lot of influencers and even most of the people, it's not really open to everybody, but influencers as well as pro gamers of like Overwatch players, Hearthstone, whatever, have also been given like shill us codes. But a lot of, at least content creators, I think a lot of pro players are a little worried about their lifeblood being pro gaming, so they don't want to talk too much shit. Yeah. But a lot of content creators being pretty forward about it not being that interesting. Apparently a lot of people say that although it seems like a mix of CSGO and Overwatch, which sounds like it could be cool, apparently it's very slow-paced. Apparently it's not the way the aesthetic and everything looks like it's the kind of game that would be like really fast-paced and everything. Yeah. But apparently it's very slow-moving. Takes a lot of strategy, which is not entirely a bad thing, but apparently a lot of people expected a lot quicker of a game, especially in a lot of the videos and teasers for it. It looked like it was going to be this really epic thing, but it just feels like very tedious, chore-ish type playing. You got to really just play smart or else the other team will kill you. So it's a shame because Riot Games are not necessarily the best people, but I was really looking forward to them because we've had this talk many a times where years ago that we were just like, League's an okay game if you play with friends, toxic as fuck community, but great characters, so we would love to see these characters taken in a different medium, a movie or anything, just to be able to experience these characters. Like personally I love Ahri, Jinx, and Lux are probably my 3 favorites. So to take those or even Misfortune and put them in like even an animated movie just to get me the fuck away from League but still enjoy these characters would be great. So I was just really hoping that their next attempt at games would be better, but it's a shame to hear a lot of people kind of shitting on this game. We'll see. It's still in beta. They still have a lot of this is what this is for, to get feedback and everything. So maybe they can fix it. But I guess we'll just look forward to seeing how the fighting game is going to go. We'll see. Yeah. I know with fighting games, a lot of people, and I know some people are going to be like, well, games like League have the same issue with a rotating roster with free-to-play characters, so you don't really get to learn everybody, ergo you don't get to learn your matchups that easily, and you don't get to do all this stuff, but I'm very curious to see, because they are trying to keep a free-to-play model for most of their games, or all of their games technically, so I'll be very curious to see how they're going to try to do the fighting game thing. And then finally, more importantly, what's it going to play like? Yeah. True. Because that's obviously very important. In your personal experience, especially if they do something with Riot doing it, what kind of game would you like to see? Would you like to see more of a fast-paced stuff? Would you like to see more of an NRS style? Would you like to see What would you personally be a fan of? Like, it would kind of interest you a little bit if they did this style.
I think, because weren't they trying to do something with cooldowns?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would probably have to do... I would think it would probably be something like how Grand Blue does it.
Oh, by the way, did you get it? You have that? And
I have it. Haven't played much.
Much of it? Okay, I was going to ask
Yeah.
you know, how you're getting on with that, but you haven't played in a while then.
Not really. But the way Grand Blue does work is each special attack does have a cooldown. And granted, there's like a shortcut way you can do it. Like instead of, doing quarter circle forward and then punch or whatever, you can press like forward and then like a single button. However, if you do it the easy way, the cooldown bar, it takes longer than if you were to do it like quarter circle forward or whatever. So I think if they were to probably model after that, I think it would work pretty well.
Okay, yeah. And I could see them maybe actually trying to be... Because when it comes to cooldowns and stuff, they're kind of already used to cooldowns and everything and like even League, so it might be something that they could actually accelerate by messing with something they're a little familiar with. Because that fighting game is definitely different waters than what they're doing, for sure. I mean, one could argue that so is Valorant, but if you think about it, not really, because Valorant's almost like an FPS version. Oh, actually, is it an FPS or is it a third person? No, whatever.
I think it's FPS.
FPS, right?
I think.
Yeah, I thought it was, but then when I said it, it sounded weird. But yeah, it's almost like an FPS because there's still like points and everything, so it's almost like an FPS version of League almost. Yeah. I know a lot of people are going to shred me over making such a fucking watered down comparison, but you get what I'm saying is the fact that it's less removed than fighting game.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing a weird thing where each fighting game round takes place at a point and you're trying to defend the point and move it back and forth. That would be weird.
Yeah.
But then I would be like, oh, okay, then I get what you're saying. But other than that, it's like, no. It's not really that. Valorant is definitely not as big of a leap away. Josh had to fucking remind me so I could throw up that Blades finally dropped on Switch after being delayed forever, which is weird because literally I don't think actually anyone asked for that port. I think as many people asked for that port as they did fucking Diablo on mobile versus a new Diablo game. So there is that. Not really excited for that at all. Is that even really news? It is because it just came out. But it is... Sorry, I'm putting drinks away in my fridge so everyone can know what the fuck I'm doing when I'm away from the mic. I take a step away from the mic to breathe. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, I'm not really... Who gives a fuck? Fuck you, Blades. Twitch is apparently cracking down on simp emotes because it's discrimination and it's not fair for people who are simps. It's kind of like you're addressing the fact that simps are like actually a thing. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, apparently Twitch is cracking down because they're seeing it as a harassment thing that people are using to fucking shit talk each other.
Okay.
Of course! Oh, that's a little weird. What the fuck? She's not a... What? Anyways, Pokemon apparently, of course she's involved in this article because so many people simp for her, so of course fucking she'd be in this article, which is a little funny, but then they said that his emotes, and it's just like, but Pokemon's a she. I mean, unless she identifies, but I know she doesn't, but unless this article is claiming she identifies as a he now.
Yeah, who knows?
But apparently she had a Fed simp emote that was removed by Twitch.
Fed simp?
Yeah. I guess she feeds the simps their content. Yeah, and then they name other people that use... I just wanted to name Pokemon for no reason, but yeah. Yep. So it's being seen as harassment, content targeted, insult, bullying, threatening, etc., etc.
Oh, okay.
Would I wager to say that there's still probably racist emotes that Twitch isn't taking down, but they're going after simp emotes? That's a little weird. But yeah. Doom Eternal adding the dreaded de nouveau DRM to its fucking game post-launch.
Heard about that.
So it got reviewed. For those who don't know, in a nutshell, de nouveau is just a very invasive DRM that has proven, factually, people have proven, makes games run worse. Tons of games, like I believe some of the Assassin's Creed games on PC and everything, not just run Ubisoft, but also de nouveau, so it caused a lot of fucking performance issues and stuff like that. Monster Hunter World launched with a de nouveau, and that was a big problem. Yeah, so it's just not great.
think I also
Yep.
heard it also puts you more at risk for security issues.
It actually does. It actually opens up because what it does is the DRM opens up a check essentially just to make sure that there's no way you can cheat, but that also opens a backdoor for hackers to get in. So it's like, but the big problem with Denuvo is when Doom Eternal launched, it had fragments of Denuvo, and people were just like, "Oh shit! Don't tell me it has Denuvo." And then Bethesda and it was like, "Oh, whew, nah," got rid of it.
Yeah.
And then now this week we're just like full on threw it in. The game has since been review bombed. It went from very positive to mixed within a matter of minutes after Denuvo dropped because everyone was like, "Fuck this." And to be fair, because of course you have people out there who are just like, "I don't think what the big deal." The big deal is you were lied to. A lot of people bought in good. This is like the whole Epic Game Store Shenmue thing again, where like people were just like, "We wanted it on Steam. Now we're having to wait a year because Epic Games cut this deal at the last minute." That's what the problem is that you were promised a Denuvo free game. It may not have said it on the box. It may not say it in the game description. But by not announcing that it has Denuvo, which it didn't have, adding it in post is just fucked up. That would be like being promised that the next Assassin's Creed game you're going to buy is not going to have... What's the Ubisoft one called? Uplay? It'd be like being promised it's not going to have that, then it launches without it, then after they've collected everyone's $60, then be like, patch it in. It's like, no. That's just... no. What it is it's just bad business practice. For all the people who are calling it not a big deal or don't see what the point is, you know. But that's just the thing. Not just is it a DRM, which is already disgusting on many levels, because people pirate, man. Like, I know someone from a third world country who pirates, and like, pirate's gonna pirate. Like, he's pirated every game that has the worst DRM on it. So, A, it doesn't stop anybody. And then B, the fact that it affects performance of the game, that's the worst part about it. No DRM should even really exist anymore in 2020, but on top of that, it should not fuck up your game's performance. No, just not a thing. Mallory, have you played Doom Eternal yet? I feel like if any of us do, might
No, I have not.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. One of us will eventually be able to talk about that game, because apparently it's good, though, aside that.
I might play it this week just so I can talk to you guys about it, but
There you go.
no, I haven't gotten around to it.
Nice. Apparently, or not apparently, what the fuck am I saying? That is actually one of the bigger advantages of consoles. You don't usually have to worry about that kind of launcher DRM nonsense. It's one of the beauties of consoles sometimes. Sometimes console can be alright. This past week, Epic Games totally fucked up, and like everyone knew that GTA 5 was going to be the free game. But despite this big leak that happened, I forgot if they officially tweeted it or if some data miners found or whatever, but everyone knew it was going to be GTA 5, but they did this thing where they were just like, mystery game going to be announced in 24 hours, here's the countdown, here's a gold vault, dun, 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 dun. And everyone's just talking, like literally everyone in our Discord was just like, so when GTA 5 is announced as the free game in 24 hours, everyone down to download it so we can all play online for free. Like, it's funny because GTA Online's hilarious. And then everyone was just like, yep. And then, of course, there were still some people who were just like, well, we don't know that. And I'm just like... So anyways, guys, when GTA 5 is the free game, because it's just been hell leaked by so many reliable sources, is everyone down to play? It's just like, get out! Why are you even still... What are you doing? And then sure enough, it got announced, and then they were just like, yeah, guys, we're giving everyone GTA 5 until the 21st of May. You can download it for free. It's Epic Games free game. I gotta say, though... Pretty cool move on Epic Games because GTA 5 is pretty great, and for free, that's even better. Now, the online has a bunch of malicious microtransactions. You can buy shark dollars, and it's known for people who have spent thousands of real life dollars to buy a house in the game, cars in the game.
Yeah.
Like people just, but aside that, it's a fun game though, and it is, and GTA Online has some funny stuff. So there's that. Oh, this goes Blaze News again. Why the fuck? It's not like anyone gives a shit about that. Stop it. Stop it. Let me close the simp tab, actually.
He's gonna be the one guy. I was excited.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. The TurboGrafx 16 Mini. That was a very surprising one when they announced that, but I guess everyone's just going to do a Mini at this point. Comes out next week in the US. We'll see. So far, all Minis that have come out seem to have the fucking stock issue. Not just the Nintendo ones, but just any of them in general. So, because there was the PlayStation... Well, the PlayStation one was just bad. Because they used the worst ports of all the PS1 games, which was a shame. Oh yeah, several publishers and companies are announcing that they're in lieu of E3, they're just going to do their own online live stream stuff. However, Square Enix has announced they're not going to because they're just going to announce the games as they come out, which is not necessarily anything wrong with that. Fallout 76 is free for... Oh, no, that was last weekend. This weekend that just passed by, you could have played Fallout 76 for free. And got double XP.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, Mallory, you finished Streets of Rage 4, right?
I did what?
You finished Streets of Rage 4, right?
No.
Oh.
I thought you said you did. I thought you told me you did.
I finished, my friend Pedro.
Yeah, and then you messaged
That's
me
what
and you were like, oh wow, this game that you showed me on the podcast was really fun. I've been playing it, and then I think you said...
Oh, yeah, I haven't finished it, though, because I got really busy with work.
Damn work.
Yeah. I know.
She'd be like, damn it, work. I got priorities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but how did you like it so far? I mean, you played a lot of it.
So far I love it. It's very cute. I love pretty much all of it. I love the game style. I love the voices in it. Like, the story is really good. It keeps my attention. And I just, like, the whole game is really cute and fun to play.
Good.
So.
Good to hear. Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it. Both people whose first Streets of Rage game it is, as well as classic people, seem to like it. Of course, you have a few people who are like, oh, the aesthetic's too modern in anime. It's just like, shut the fuck up. This game's not for you. Go play fucking Warzone or whatever the fuck you play.
Yeah, go play the older
Yeah,
one.
like, get out of here.
Epic Games, actually, this is why I did the live thing. It actually worked out. At first I was going to say, so far this is going okay, but now it's paying off. Just announced an hour from recording, Epic Games is actually starting a cool policy that I think literally every game store, hell, even places like Amazon need to do. Within a certain period of time, within a week, if the game you just bought goes on sale, you get a partial refund for the difference. Because I know that does happen to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people go shit out of luck, that's what you get, blah, blah, blah. But it does suck where, like, you bought Monster Hunter World at $60 and they dropped it. Oh, it's Midweek Madness on Steam. Monster Hunter World is $30. And you're just like, but I just spent $60 12 hours ago. Yeah. Fuck you. I see that a lot. And it's frustrating, I can imagine. Yeah, you're trying to support this game and then it's just fucking half off. It's like, fuck off. So at that point now, Epic Games will give you $30 back. So that's kind of cool. I think everyone should do that because that's just really fucky. Like, I understand the way sales work and the whole point behind them is to generate like, ooh, you don't know it's going to be this price again. But good on you, Epic Games. Guys are still a shitty company, but that's a cool policy. I hope more places adopt that. Steam pretty much has no choice but to copy it, but we'll see. Oh yeah, so there's that Club Penguin Resurrection clone that came out a while back.
Oh jeez.
Disney has since shut it down because it has a bunch of extremely inappropriate content from sexual to racist content, which the original one already had, but this one didn't have the moderation of the original one. So yeah, you can fucking imagine.
It's weird that Club Penguin was that.
Right?
So
Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Rainbow Six Siege have showed that microtransaction during the pandemic has gone up 170%, and like that's not good. People are just getting bored and buying microtransactions. That is not good. Do not feed the monster, please. There's a new Harry Potter mobile game coming out that's probably going to be bad. DayZ came out on Xbox Game Pass. Apparently it's really cool. Game Pass dropping some fucking...
Man, I forgot DayZ existed.
Right. Apparently it's pretty good, though. I also forgot it existed. Ninjago is still free. I don't know if it's going to be free by the time this episode drops, but it's still free for now, if you want to do that. Animal Crossing is announced as the next collaboration, because Tetris 99 likes to do themed events. Animal Crossing is the next crossover theme that's going to be with Tetris 99. For those who haven't tried it out, Tetris 99 is fucking awesome. It's good stuff. Is that it? Because a lot of this is just Borderlands shit, which I don't care about. More Doom Eternal. problem with the Denuvo. Oh, there's that long 18-minute Ghost of Tsushima combat trailer. I mean, it looks fine. Japanese honor history shit. I mean, it looks fine.
I think I saw you can pet a fox.
You can.
Yeah.
Game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's... Oh! And finally, what we'll wrap it up on is talking about and the... who gives a fuck? Anthem redesign. Okay, I'm closing this window. Alright, so we're going to talk about the... Personally, I think is very exciting announcement, assuming they don't fuck it up. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered has been announced and will be coming out on PlayStation 4, Xbox, and Steam. I think maybe Epic Games. Unfortunately, no Switch port announced yet, which sucks ass because... Seems like it'd be a cool game on Switch. Would be fucking Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. They have already announced most of the soundtracks will be intact, not all, because rights and licenses.
Yeah.
But they're, no Guerrilla Radio, by the way. So if that's anyone's make or break deal, Guerrilla Radio is not in the game. So they have another Bulls on Parade made it back, but not Guerrilla Radio. So although was Bulls on Parade even in? That was in like Tony Hawk 4. I don't fucking. That's weird. Anyways. Well, aside that, or 3 rather. But aside that being weird, it looks great. My biggest concern is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD was so bad, I still have trauma scars because I really was hyped for Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD because it was supposed to be what this is allegedly going to be. So we'll see. It's cool that it was announced around the time of Tony Hawk's like 53rd birthday.
That was like 57. I don't even know.
50 something. Definitely not 60 yet.
Yeah.
His 50-something's birthday just happened, so this was announced around that time, which was cool. You have a lot of people, of course, who are just like, why not a new one? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, test market. Yeah. Who even wants a Tony Hawk game anymore? We don't know. Because there's a new Skate game coming out, which is really cool. Skate's a great series as well, but very different. So it's like, who still wants one? So it's a good test market. But on top of that, the last, 6, because yes, I'm counting Tony Hawk Ride and all those other ones, the last, 6 Tony Hawk games were all really bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, this might be a good place to start, because if you do this well, because this is what I don't get about, RDC World has a funny skit about, how video game developers think you want games, and it's just all wrong. It's just crazy to me how blind some of these people are. I get the malicious microtransaction shit, not that I justify it, but I get where they're going from that, because money.
Yeah.
But I just don't get when, you can pretty much print money and they don't do it. If Tony Hawk 5, 6, Underground 1, 2... some people like the Underground series, it's fine. But then, Ride and all... No one asked for that. I saw where Tony Hawk went with that. He's like, if you stand on a plastic board and you emulate, it should be fun, but it was bad. And all the other terrible ones that came out, it's just but if you just cut and pasted because 1, 2, 3, and 4 were basically all just cut and paste, new levels, new music, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
A couple of new tricks, a couple of new skaters, but other than that, almost Control fucking C the whole thing, and it worked. If the rest of them had been like that, it still would have done brilliantly, and it's just crazy to me. It's just you guys can literally just bullshit new games, and we will be there for it because we find that fun. It
would have been
you could do NBA
Madden.
or Madden, exactly.
Yeah.
You could do that, and people would be there for it because at least you're getting cool new music in it every time. It would just be the same shit again, but new levels and cool new music, but literally the same shit. But I'm down with that again, exactly making an annual sports game. Maybe not do it that often because that's already fucky when they do that, but every couple of years do a new Tony Hawk. We'll see. I just hope that they keep it the same. Were you guys big Tony Hawk players, at least the first few, when you guys were younger on the PlayStation 1?
I remember playing one of them, but it was back on N64.
That would have been...
I think it was 2?
2.
Yeah, because I don't think the first one
One was not ported, yeah. 2 was ported to N64. I believe that was the only one, actually.
Yeah, so I remember I rented it for a weekend.
That's an interesting place to play it, because that controller playing Tony Hawk seems weird.
Yeah, it took some getting used to.
For sure. But I guess you didn't really have anything else to compare it to, so, was it? I guess it wasn't that weird.
It was how I first got introduced to Goldfinger.
Hell yeah, me too, actually. And after that, Goldfinger was actually my favorite band for, the next 5 years, until Blind Guardian and everything, but, Goldfinger's good, man. Yeah. They actually released a recent song, random tangent. Well, kind of. But they were talking about... they just released a new song, and they were all performing it remotely, of course, being responsible.
Yeah.
And it was great. I was just like, man, these guys are still kicking it. He's, fucking hell old now. But... And I think Feldman's probably... he's probably almost 60 now.
Ska won't die.
And, they still got a great ska sound. I mean, they went through a few different phases. There was that one, Stomping Grounds. I love that one. It had like a Godzilla parody cover, except it was them instead of Godzilla, and they were like knocking down the buildings and shit. And but that had a lot of stuff. But that started moving more in like more of a punk like sound, more so going away from ska. Which their first album, self-titled, and Hang Ups which had Superman.
Yeah.
Those were definitely very ska. In fact, the brass line on Hang Ups, trivia, was actually Real Big Fish's brass line.
Oh,
They were best friends, so they didn't really have a trumpet player or
Real Big
or
Fish is awesome.
And Real Big Fish is great. Goldfinger and Real Big Fish to me are legit ass ska bands that I actually really do unironically like. But yeah, so they released a new song and it's great. So it's cool to hear Goldfinger's still awesome. Yeah. Mallory, Tony Hawk experiences with you?
I did. I liked Tony Hawk. I love the music. And so I'm excited to play a remastered version. I played one on PS1, and then I played 2 on N64 because that was one of my favorite consoles of all time. So I'm excited. I like Tony Hawk. I've been following him on Twitter for a while. And a lot of people don't know it's Tony Hawk.
That part's kind of funny.
So if you've read his Twitter, it's just full of stories like that. So it's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm one of the people who really follow Tony Hawk games pretty far in because my brother and I really love playing like the split screen modes and stuff that they later added. So we spent hundreds of hours playing those games. And I followed it pretty closely up to like Underground 1, which a lot of people hail as like the last great one, because Underground 2 was terrible because it was just a bunch of Bam Margera content, so no one cared about that. And then the one for 3DS, or was it regular DS? I believe it was regular DS, was surprisingly good. I believe it was a Underground, like, they called it some bullshit, Hawk Jam or some shit like that. That one was actually alright. But you can only imagine the limitations of the original DS. It wasn't really when you're used to playing like up to like when I played it on like Xbox. So it's just like it's kind of a bit of a downgrade, but it's like
just blocks on skateboards.
But to me, it was also further argument for why it's a great portable game because I did play it a lot because I did take it on the go. But yeah, I think that's that. So yeah, Tony Hawk's exciting. Epic Games, great ideas, bad people, and Borderlands 3 still sucks. So until next week, we will catch you guys every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, we will catch you guys, and hopefully John will be back next week. We'll see you all later.
Bye.